And this is what the teams are battling for. It's their opportunity to get into Worlds. This is a best of 5 set. Both of them tied right now, 1-1, heading into game number 3 for picks and bans. I'm curious to see if Flashpoint is going to be able to make the adaptations necessary, because the 2 consistent factors for Eager clearly are this Ra and Bastet.
Right. And another thing to mention, both teams have played on the same side of the map, both games. They've each elected to take either first or second pick. I don't know who had the pick of what side they wanted, but maybe that switches up too. It could be a viable strategy.
Absolutely.
Well, we are heading into picks and bans here, and this will determine a lot. We've seen the compositions be a huge factor in who was successful in these games. Obviously, Eager didn't get the best of their the drafting phase in game 1. They lost that to Flashpoint. They got the better of the drafting phase, had a really consistent lineup that went with a general theme, allowed them to play to their strengths. djpernicus on Bastet, the support, the kind of CC for Rod and be taken advantage of. And, well, we go into the first phase, and again, the ban's coming out. Bastet will not be played this game.
No, not at all. Flashpoint recognized just how annoying it actually is, because even though it wasn't so successful in the first game, it still brought a lot to the table once Eager made those adaptations. Having the double Guardians that actually had control, this allows you to run a full damage-oriented jungler such as Bastet. So now we're actually going to get to see what Eager else has in mind.
And I think Flashpoint switching to elect for first pick was huge in that, because first pick is much easier to comfort ban, as you don't have to ban out Terra and other things that may be OP in your team's opinion. And they take the Nemesis, which was Homiefe's, if not the most, one of his most played gods in Group D, and he dominated the group with that pick.
For Group D, though, it was all about the Nemesis, the Ao Kuang, and the Thor. Now, necessarily DJ, when I think of DJ, I don't think of Thor, but I do think of Nemesis or Ao Kuang as well. So I think Eager were expecting Homiefe to go for this Nemesis and kind of counteract that with the Ao Kuang, maybe?
They should definitely be prepared for it. I don't know if Pern will go right to Ao Kuang. I think if he does do that, you would see it in the bottom half of the draft. Looking like they're hovering Sobek right now. Both Divios and Aror can play that pretty well.
It's going to be the Sobek for Eager first pick. It works wonders for Eager's idea, because Aror can have this pick, Divios can have this pick. There's a lot of setup for the best. Yet again, still prioritizing the Rod. It just brings too much to the table between disengaging and then re-engaging, as well as the heavy burst damage. So if Eager keep drafting around the best and find the right setup, he's going to be able to easily go off.
Also in previous games, whenever Flashpoint was going against the Rod, they would instantly pick the Sobek, so now Eager takes that option away from them, and Shadowq elects to go to the Bacchus, which was another one of his most played gods in Group D.
Absolutely. This is a god that, and when I think of actually Shadowq, I think of Bacchus. He always loves to group up as 5 and just be able to find the right targets to belly flop. So Eager now has to be careful about that mindset coming out of Flashpoint, because this is something that they consistently do.
And you do see, obviously, Bacchus got a lot of burst potential. So does Raijin. Nemesis as well, throwing that debuff onto an enemy. That can be very devastating if somebody follows up pretty strongly with that. And so Eager are going to have to watch out for that. Seems that's their game plan for Flashpoint. Who are they going to be trying to burst down here? And Serqet, as we mentioned, comes out for Eager. But who's Flashpoint kind of focusing with this kind of bursty lineup?
At this point, it's whenever the Sobek goes in for the charge prey.
Okay.
Whether or not he connects on it or not, it doesn't matter for Flashpoint. They're going to be able to dump all their abilities onto that target. Doesn't matter if it's Aror or Divios. They should be able to dump enough damage with that Nemesis ulti, with the Bacchus and Raijin to follow up and find an easy kill.
And historically, this is Flashpoint's most played 3v3. It's their favorite 3v3 composition in the support mid and jungle. And they have a lot of flexibility, because even a Ra, who's normally can stand very far back to follow up, Raijin, the taunt range for his ultimate is actually very long, so you can even look to dive best in these fights. So very flexible 3v3 right there, and a ton of burst damage and control.
So obviously the Serqet has been picked up. We've looked at the Ares now being banned, and the Vamana as well. Now Ravan kind of coming in last there, and of course Flashpoint, they have one more ban. What do you think about the Ares ban? It didn't seem to work amazingly when Aror picked it up earlier, so not sure where this ban is coming.
It makes sense to ban Ares here, because they already have enough control with the Sobek, I would say, and as well as Serqet being played onto djpernicus. So assuming that Sobek is going to Divios, that allows a heavy burst Guardian coming for Aror, and he's been known to play these aggressive supports every now and then. He'll even pull out a warrior support if he relies heavily on other people to have that control.
And I think you're seeing both of the teams start to really get a feel for each other and figure out each other. Eager also banning out both of Benji's most played gods, the Vamana and the Ravana, in the second stage. So trying to counter what the other team's comforts are and just go with your own plan.
And taking away the comfort pick of the Rama onto
Yes.
Vetium, playing in games number
Absolutely.
1 and 2. I feel like it was such well executed by Vetium, because he didn't fall behind in the early laning phase, especially against Zapman's Hu-Yi in game number 2, where he was probably looking for a lot more action, trying to prevent Vetium from getting into that mid to late game teamfight phase. But now it's going to be Zapman that's going to be able to have those long range snipes at his disposal.
Also, another underrated thing of Eager's comp is if they ever get a target low, this Ra snipe does not have to kill because the Serqet poison can clean up targets, the Rama snipes can clean up targets, so they have a lot of chase for these kills that they could get in teamfights.
And speaking of Nemesis and Raijin, right, both gods who have the ability to kind of get out of a fight quickly, and if you can't close that gap, they might just be left with their life, but not with the Serqet ult, not with the Rama snipes coming in from the air. Guan Yu will be last selected, and Amaterasu and Jing on the side for a Flashpoint will round out their lineup. PBM, how are you feeling about this?
Well, as Totally alluded to, what there is that a warrior aggressive support that Aurora likes in the Guan Yu. It's going to help Zap get a little bit of lane clear early, help him get ahead on that Rama versus the Jing Wei. Try to see how that matchup goes. I think Vetium was kind of getting the better end of Zap in game 1 in this matchup. Now that they flip it, it'll be interesting to see how that does. And Benji going back to the Ama despite not having the greatest game 1 at last game.
I definitely expect Flashpoint to be very aggressive with Homiefe on this Nemesis. The question is, how aggressive is he really feeling? Is he feeling djpernicus kind of aggressive, where he's going to start invading right off the bat? Or if he's just going to look for those reset invades off of the 3-minute respawns?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Game 3 coming up right to you. Flashpoint, Team Eager. Tom, Kevin, take it away.
So Flashpoint right here have the comp that they kind of want. Nemesis, Bacchus, Raijin, even Amaterasu and Jing Wei. These are their picks. This is what they kind of want. But Team Eager have 2 heals.
They do have 2 heals. Now, funny enough, we actually saw something similar run in the Orbit versus Obey. The last game, it was actually, again, a raw Guan Yu picked up by Orbit. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win, and they even had it paired with, 3 frontliners, 2 Guardians, and a Warrior. And it seems a lot of teams have kind of come out with strategies to counter the healing meta a little bit. And a lot of it seems to be about just commitment, where you need to jump in and burst. You cannot get into a poke war. And I don't really think Flashpoint's a team that's willing to get into a poke war. Also, the damage on their gods is immense, and it doesn't matter if you have healing. If Homiefe finds someone by himself, it doesn't matter if it's a tank, doesn't matter if it's a hunter or a mage, he's gonna ult you, and if you get picked up, no healing is gonna help. This is all about that burst 3v3 for Flashpoint, and it's something that they are incredibly comfortable with. This is what we saw them beat Soar with, was this exact same 3v3, the Bacchus, the Raijin, the Nemesis.
Did he get spotted?
Any target is just dead.
Divios, I'm not sure if he got spotted just yet, but now he certainly is. And Divios
Okay, I don't know if Divios is actually trying to invade here, or if he's just trying to annoy Flashpoint and make them think he's invading. Both solo laners picked up Wrath, I believe.
Well, DJ's here as well on that Serqet.
They did.
Both solo laners do have the Wrath. No, neither jungler do.
Awkward invade coming out from Eager. Really awkward.
We have identical relics, actually, across the board.
And DJ's going to back up, so no one gets the better end of this. I mean, a cooldown wasted from DJ, but that'll be up by the time the waves meet. And already Divios is walking to that buff. This is going to be a game of cat and mouse over here in the solo lane. Completely.
Well, Ratatasker was last game and they banned Bastet, actually.
Come, aggro, please. What is
That one-
wrong with you?
That's what we call low-hanging fruit.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
can't ignore that one.
Gotta grab it.
djpernicus getting an aggressive stance. Gonna look for the zigzag. Brings Benji down about 75% HP.
Actually, Benji taking a lot of damage from those Sobek basics, and Divios not really worried about this. You could see he's picked up the Vanguard, so even though he's drawing aggro from the archers, that's 5 just flat damage reduced. And interesting enough, we saw Eager do the mid-harpies on the left-hand side, and I like this because there's so many camps open up on the right. You rotate the Guan Yu and just have that numbers advantage to take control of them.
Yeah, we'll see how that one develops in a little bit. Here comes Aurora, already rotating. It's kind of his hallmark. One of the quicker to
Oh, he's
rotate
level
supports.
1. Ooh, this is bad. He also had his purification burned, And so for the next 3 minutes, there's going to be so many opportunities for DJ to look for a gank. All they need is a single hard CC and then Best to snipe him. Because he's only level 2 right now, it's going to take a while for him to get online.
Look how active this game is. Because Aurora is so quick to rotate, Shadowq has to do the exact same thing. The shenanigans that were happening here on the right side jungle, everybody is here on the east side.
And Wrath is still available for both solo laners. Neither have used it. The camps are still up. This is a sign of a good team is when stuff like this happens, how quickly can you adapt and figure out what to do that's the most efficient way? There's no way Shadowq is going to stop this. And Divios finds the first of 4 buffs of the right side of the map at 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're all still standing, except for that blue one that Divios just been able to pick up. But now there's a Wrath differential, and everybody knows that Divios' Wrath is down, so you might be able to see Flashpoint off to an invade of their own, but instead it's Eager one more time.
This is dangerous, and they're getting collapsed on here. It's 3-on-2, but Flashpoint have no interest in trying to get a kill. Obviously, 2 members of Eager still on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, though, Vetium hits 5, so he has his ultimate, and how is Zap getting out of this one? Gets soloed, buddy.
For first blood, Vetium takes down Zapman and makes it look
at his
easy.
face. He is not happy in his own play. He knows he messed up.
No, I mean, so Vetium, I mean, doesn't have a scratch on him. When a fight goes that drastically bad, I mean, that's an issue.
And that kill was a product of how that early game started. Yeah, Shadowq soaked a wave with Vetium, but they were able to pick up their red buff, back harpies, and boars, where we saw Eager go for those mid harpies, which, it allowed Aurora to get over there. And Eager found an edge on the right side of the map. But Zapman, you saw no minions in that wave. He was level 4. Vetium was level 5. And if Vetium doesn't have an ult there, Zap probably gets out.
And Jing just has the opportunity to kind of snipe you down a little bit better than Ram does in the early stages. If you get hit by that knock-up and you get sort of 2 basics guaranteed, right, Ram's going to slow you a little bit. So a little bit more control on the side of Jingwei.
Right now, it's Flashpoint, who are still behind, though, by about 600 gold, despite that first blood. Product of Eager's kind of intelligence and how they played the early game. Homiefe not level 5. And was that a jump in by Shadowq by himself?
Yeah, Shadow jumps into a bunch of players, drops the ultimate, does absolutely nothing. Sort of like Hurriwind's ultimate right there. Stun onto Shadow. There's a shot. Roar's able to finish it off thanks to the entirety of Team Eager. Shadow looking for the left harpies and instead got dead.
I don't think he knew how many players were over on that side. I think he had just heard either the Raw or the Guan Yu working on them, had assumed there was only one, he'd be able to jump in and get away. But then he jumps over the wall, and all of a sudden there's 4 people there. Yeah. And you saw how long Shadowq survived. I mean, almost enough for his belly flop to come back up, which would have allowed him to get to safety there, and just kind of unaware of what was going on that side. There's a ward there now, but I don't believe it was placed there at first. Otherwise, I don't expect Shadowq to jump into there.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough. Benji, a little bit rough right now. Divios might be able to find a kill. Gets a stun. Benji gets his ultimate forced out. Look at DJ lurking in the jungle.
Honestly, DJ probably could have looped around, jumped over that wall, but I think he's more concerned about the buffs. You can see that blue buff just spawning, so if Benji's not here to stop this, which he went for the Wrath, obviously, to stop Divios' Wrath, and this blue buff should be free. Homiefe is rotated over, though, and DJ just completely missed him, but he does find Hurriwind.
Yeah, and they're going to collapse one more time on Shadowq. 4 players in the right side jungle. Homiefe going to be able to defend the tower while Eager goes and finds the gremlins. Now they're going to get aggressive and look for a little bit of an invade. Blue buff has respawned. Benji's there with Wrath available, and Divios doesn't, so they walk
I'm actually very surprised that Eager's not invading this. I guess just wanting to play it safe, though. They had a 2, regardless, they had a 2-level lead on Homiefe and on Benji. They both hit 6 off of that camp. Shadowq was stuck in mid, clearing a wave. Hurriwind was back in base. But instead, they're just going to play it safe. Speed buff is spawning, though. No interest from Eager. They're just going to head back and get some power spike items. You can see boots picked up right now by Serqet, also by Raw, getting that penetration online. This is now when those snipes from Best are going to really start to hurt once you get that second point in your ultimate, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rich dad, poor dad, right? Like, a little bit of risk is going to be advantageous to your overall positioning, but at the end of the day, you go too deep. Yeah, we've got a level, but he's got a Wrath and we don't. Like, how much is too much, right? So I think you play it intelligently safe right
honestly, early game fights are some of the most calculating fights you can have in Smite, because you know very clearly how much damage people do for the most part. I mean, if you don't always get to the late game, but you will always or you should always get to at least the first couple minutes.
It's like level 1 is the Stone Age, and you're fighting with like a single ability, right? You have like a stick, and then later on, you're level 18, 19, you have like a nuclear arsenal at your disposal.
One mistake
right?
and you're dead, whereas it's a lot more calculating, I think, where you can get off a couple mistakes or a couple advantages and find a lead in there. And Eager doing a good job overall. Once again, just playing this kind of slow, methodical game where they're not really interested in forcing too much. If Shadowq jumps up the wall, sure, we'll kill him.
And if Homie
What
walks
the
into the
hell?
laser beam, the best will take it as well.
What, was there a stun there? I mean, everyone still...
No, that was the best getting the ultimate off of no setup again.
Apparently, I mean, maybe I don't... Okay, okay,
Listen
Beth.
to you.
All right, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that you didn't need the setup from Aurora. I get it now.
I absolutely love how flabbergasted you are right now, Kevin.
I mean, okay, Homiefe just going to take an ult to the face, and I'm pretty sure Best was just trying to secure mid-harpies with it. I mean, we saw them
It was through the wall.
Okay. All right. Best, man. Okay,
So
you do
that goes all the way back. Bart used to bring this up all the time when we casted together. It's something that Best does all the time. Now, specifically, he used to play a lot of Habwa, and used to see the water spout through the wall with no ward. Best just knows where you're at. Right there, we saw it in game number 2 a little bit with the Searing Light in the number 1, where he just sort of throws the slow beam and it takes somebody through a wall. Right there's the ult. Best can see through the walls, man.
That's called hacking.
He's channeling his inner EMC.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but if you're gonna bring it up,
channeling it.
I was about to say that. I'm like, no, let's not do this. We'll just go with he's hacking.
Oh, I'll go for it.
Everyone already knows.
You already know it.
Rip. And
All
DJ
right.
Party. Oh, look at this. So he knows where Jingwei is obviously going to land with her passive, but he just misses him. Vetium has no idea. Is that a ward? Is he on a ward right now?
No, he's on an arrow. It's a Ram arrow.
It's an Eager ward. Okay. So this should be... Oh, no. There you get spotted out. He got spotted out. Zapman backed off and was rolling. I think he wanted to finish his Devourer's Gauntlets. DJ got it back on a ward, though, which means Flashpoint know that they can take a fight on this right-hand side without worrying about him right now, but just trying to defend their own buffs. And Aurora and Divios are just not... They're just trying to play it safe.
Hurriwind and Vetium going to look towards the Gold Fury, however, because they saw the back from the jungler. Best is in mid lane. Aurora's in mid lane. Zapman's not here. Free 50, free Flashpoint. GG gets the Gold Fury.
Again, I mean, that's just knowing what's happening on the map there. You saw Divios and Aurora trying to invade that blue buff, at the very least make it awkward or uncomfortable for Flashpoint. They watched Zapman back in lane, Vetium did. They knew Raw was in mid lane clearing minions, and they saw on the ward DJ back. I mean, that was just a clean execution where just paying attention to the minimap and paying attention to kind of where everyone is, having that map awareness, and nothing Eager can do.
Yeah, it's just high level understanding of the map and its awareness. And actually, that's something if you watch Eager a lot, you can actually. I wonder if Flashpoint are aware that Eager do this a lot. Eager like to take their backs in tandem. Very rarely do you see sort of split backs.
You can see it right now, too. Look at the timers.
Yeah, see everybody's sort of coming out of the base at the same time. Eager do this on purpose so that they're, not caught out with their pants down. But the downside is if you're able to have the wards in the right spot and you spot them out backing, you know that 2 players are in base at the same time and you're able to take advantage of it just like that.
And Flashpoint, I mean, they've evened up the game now. I mean, this is going to be fine. Still down a little bit of experience, but again, the weekend and DJ style of jungling where you look for all these opportunities to invade or set up ganks, it's great when it goes well, but we haven't seen DJ get a gank off, not really a ton of invades as well, and Homiefe is starting to out-farm him. And we do see this from DJ and Weekend. It's DJ and Weekend, where they're both so focused on ganking and looking for these opportunities, it hurts their own farm if they're not able to find the opportunities to successfully gank and invade.
So when did they become support players? Because that's what happened to Raffer.
I mean, that's kind of what they.
No,
that's kind of what they are.
That's exactly what happened to Raffer. Raffer was the best jungler for the first 7 minutes of the game.
I get. Okay. For 7 minutes, yes. So you're like, Raffer's the best jungler, and I'm like, no. 7 minutes, okay,
For the first 7 minutes of the game, he was exactly what you wanted.
He was amazing, actually.
And he just ganked too often, fell behind, and now he does the same thing, but he plays support, so nobody cares that he's behind. And it actually obviously works out, Energy being the defending world champ. So realistically looking at what those 2 junglers
This is
bring,
a 4-on-4.
They're a little bit more support oriented.
Thunder
right
Crash.
Here.
Oh, they actually almost killed DJ with the initial burst. And at the very least, mid-harpies don't even go Flashpoint's way. They were so focused. Best is like, well, I'll just take these real quick.
Did they pop the ults?
No one ulted. It was just DJ Luther
burst.
on the side finds the taunt, and then Hurriwind goes, let's kill him. And then he got low and he jumped away.
a lot of surprise damage coming out from these players. And so sort of what I was talking about before was that DJ and Weekend, but DJ in this game, he usually does play that support-esque jungle style. I think, I think the most quintessential DJ pick is the old Guan Yu jungle, right? But here, very different brand. He's playing what he played in game number 2, which was straight assassin Bastet. He's bringing out the Serqet, which theoretically should do the exact same thing.
And that's one of the things about djpernicus, where he's really selfless. When it comes down to it, all he cares about is the win in the game.
Oh, nice catch. Aror caught the dash out of Benji, but still not a hard commit coming out from Eager. I thought for sure they were going to commit. That's why.
They didn't have enough warding on the right-hand side or enough warding throughout the map. They did have the one right there. Notice the rotation
Shadowq
coming.
and Homie were right there.
Don't want to commit to it, but they do want to commit to this buff. It's a 3-on-3 right now. Divios rats it for the kill, and a missed flop from Shadowq isn't going to allow Flashpoint to answer anything back.
When it comes down to it, I always discuss this when Tully and I are casting. Different characters in the solo lane require the blue buff a little bit more or less. Sobek, after the first couple of levels, he doesn't really give a damn.
To be fair, most solo laners don't care that much.
Amaterasu certainly does.
It depends on how much he's switching stances, right? If he's getting poked out and has to switch repeatedly and has to burn a little bit of that mana, it does add up, but I don't think it's too bad for Benji here. And here's Divios without a blue buff. Just mana regen on his ult.
Yeah, exactly. It's no harm, no foul.
We're going to watch this for an hour, and it's going to be the same thing.
Well,
They're just going to hit each other a bunch. A buff's going to spawn.
My
Both
favorite
teams
is
will
look at their
group
faces.
up.
Look at their faces. They're both bored as hell, but they refuse to do anything
I don't think they're bored.
else.
I really don't think. I think this is Divios loves just micromanaging basic attack. Divios loves all the small things. I was talking to ATR the other day, who's a member of the Eager organization, and he said Divios just goes into jungle practice for hours. This is not a, hey, I want to test this one thing real quick in 10 minutes. Divios will be there in 2 to 3 hours, figuring out everything about new characters and also how characters interact with different abilities. What takes priority when it comes to stuns and all that stuff. And it's all those small things that are what make Divios so exciting to watch, and also one of the better players that Smite has ever seen.
Shouts to Blink-182. Gotta say it. But Divios on my friends list in Smite, I logged in the other day. No lie. 5 hours, 25 minutes jungle practice.
I'm telling you.
I'm not lying. This is what he does, and when you look at players that really dissect the game on the level that Divios does, that's what comes out, and it actually helps Eager in the grand scheme of things.
We saw this earlier on the other side. I didn't happen to notice if they caught anyone backing on the wards, but you could see wards for Eager on the Gold Fury, also to the backside of it. Probably caught people backing. They just walk in, take it for free. Now, Flashpoint are trying to answer back and get something off of this, but only the raw snipe was burned, so this is a little bit dangerous. Flashpoint need to be careful with this fight.
Yeah, Divios makes a rotation, however.
And look at this, DJ just goes to the right. Eager just disengage, and DJ goes and takes free farm, tries to push the tower. Benji will be here in time, but I mean, that's just what you're up against. If you start rotating across the map, Eager's first response is, okay, where can we rotate? If we could disengage, where can we rotate and find something at?
And this is why I took such issue with the Bastet ban, and we didn't talk about it, but I sat here I'm always yelling at myself.
Really, I hadn't noticed that when you were just in picks and bans going, why did they ban the Bastet?
Just ask
for an hour.
Ask people when they come to LAN. I'm in my office screaming by myself. But so the Bastet last game, we didn't see unique play. We didn't see a win via something only Bastet can do. What we saw was a highly immobile assassin kill players 8 times. Well, guess what? You ban it out, and DJ picks Serqet, a highly mobile assassin that he's going to try and kill people 8 times
and despite
it's the same game.
And despite Serqet being out of the meta, most junglers don't have it in their god pool. djpernicus, this is a god he repeatedly goes back to. And it's one of those cases where when you're not playing against Serqet regularly, you kind of forget when her power spikes are, when she gets Deathbringer, how hard she's hitting. Although DJ typically doesn't go for that. He actually likes more of that penetration build. But it's you just forget what Serqet does, and it's sure we could take a game and figure it out, or I get hit, but it's just that surprise factor that you need to be careful of.
And like I said, we're gonna see a fight here. Eager, Aror, now he's gonna turn around and just look for the ward clear. The highly mobile assassin is not unique to Bastet. The Serqet is going to do the exact same thing that the Bastet would, and in lieu of having the split push option, you have a little bit more setup for your mid laner. The split second that you have the ultimate on a player, that's enough for Best to secure an ultimate.
Just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough.
He doesn't really need it, as we've seen.
No, he just, that kill at mid-AR, people are like, oh, Homiefe just ate that.
I would
because I was looking, I was like, okay, well, what CC did they use? No ultimates are down. Divios and DJ were at their own blue buff. Aurora didn't ult, so how did they get that kill? And it just ended up being Best being amazing.
Here's the gank on Benji.
Trouble.
There's the ultimate,
The
catches the
block.
dash, and
Every time.
djpernicus starts it off. Gets
Every
a kill.
time. It's not even just DJ. We saw Aurora do the same thing.
Yep.
Super important when you're playing against an Athena and Amaterasu is blocking those dashes. And it's such a
Sobek as
small
well.
thing, but I mean, if Amaterasu can make that spacing and then utilize her movement speed aura to just get away, a lot of times that's enough.
Ambush is still catching up to her.
Probably.
Highly mobile
But she's
assassin.
in a much better spot.
Oh, fair, absolutely. But again, DJ, that kill happens Serqet or Bastet. It's just a highly mobile assassin surprising you.
And look at this. This is, again, I mean, this is only a 3K difference, but as played, it feels like it's a 6,000 or 7,000 gold lead that Eager has, because Flashpoint this is the issue that we've seen for Flashpoint. Honestly, all 3 games is they're not actively doing anything. They're really just responding to whatever Eager is forcing. Even in game 1, when they were ahead, it was still djpernicus looking for opportunities deep in the jungle, looking to start up Gold Furies even while behind, and it was kind of just, oh, Flashpoint found a pick, and so now they're in a spot where they can take this tower, take this Gold Fury. They weren't being active, and now it's going to be trouble for them to fight back into this one.
Uh-oh, Vetium, he's surrounded. Sanctuary is good for the moment. He gets dashed on as well. Zap's going to focus on the objective, and I guess we will too. Vetium on the back end, very low, 25% HP or less. Here comes Divios from behind. Gets him with the sickening strike, unable to follow up, and the tower goes down.
Ultimate from Nemesis burned there as well. It's not the best if Eager want to force something else, and I believe they do. No Gold Fury right now. But I guess without a tier 1 to take, they're just not in a spot to take stuff. You can see Benji split pushing on the right-hand side. Sobek teleported to the left, and so he is going to have an opportunity to take this tier 1, but he's got to back off. DJ coming in. And you never want to see this just, I guess it's only one difference, but the Soul Laners haven't been farming super hard to where they're infinitely above the other players in experience. And Warriors are not good when even.
Well, here's the thing, Kevin, going back to what you were talking about Flashpoint playing very reactive. This is a game style that Eager forces on the opponent. And you know, I think Flashpoint or otherwise, I think many teams would be in the same position. They force you to play Root Beer Tapper. Basically, they gank somebody on the right side, they take a left tower, they spread the map so wide that you're forced to respond to 3 fires with 1 whack-a-mole hammer. And you gotta pick one, and when you do, DJ split pushes, Divios gank somebody.
I feel like it's not even that. I feel like it's more, they do one thing, right? They're like, let's start a fire by invading here. And the second you go to respond, that's when they start up the other fire, and the first guy backs off. By the time you're going back there to be like, okay, well, now they're also trying to force Gold Fury, well, then DJ just loops back in and takes that buff.
Yeah, well, you see a lot, if you want to break it down and get technical, you see a group up of Eager with 3 players. Ideally, it's djpernicus, Divios, and usually the best. And they go and they assault someplace, and then 2 of them leave, leaving 1 behind. And then those 2 will assault someplace else. And so you're forced to respond to 2 separate fires, and there's still somebody there to sort of defend whatever situation you're trying to deal with. And Eager successfully thin the opponent out.
Right there.
And they enable situations
right there.
like this.
They just walk over to Gold Fury, bait Flashpoint back by just immediately resetting, and then right as they cross mid, Best hits 1 shot of his beam, right? Does a little bit of damage to Hurriwind, and Zapman's already starting it up again. And it's they're not going to commit to it, but it's just they keep just poking at you and like, where are you weak? Where are you going to mess up?
Because the second you don't respond, that's when Zapman doesn't pull off.
That's when they commit.
Fury. Exactly. That's why Eager have been so successful recently.
I mean,
there's only they're able to spread the map.
I mean, look at the damage too. I mean, it's not that high for really any player. You could see 6,000 on Divios, 4,000 on Benji, and everyone outside of the Soul Laners is 3K or below. And actually below 3K on almost everyone.
Here's the hard commit. The second Flashpoint don't respond swiftly. They take it right away. Aror loops through the back end just to make sure if he needs to provide support
this is good.
that he can. Benji's going to find a stun. There it is, 2 of them.
Big for Flashpoint.
There's a beautiful heal out of Aror. Oh well.
And again, you could see
Oh,
them.
that's hard.
Look at this. You could see them splitting up and abusing the movement speed aura from Amaterasu, chasing down those 3 members. They get the stun, but then Divios comes back to help peel, and all the while, DJ split pushes because he feels confident in his team to disengage successfully. Eager's disengage is the best thing about this team.
Disengage.
This is where they excel over any other team.
And communication. Benji's gonna fall down here. Zapman gets the easy kill. Ram goes to the sky, and Zapman looking for the harder kills. Can't find it. Yes, he can. The Dublayoon for the hunter from Long Island.
And Divios stays alive somehow on 1 health. The raw heals coming through for the best, and it's only 3 players left to defend this tier 2. Flashpoint have to give this up. If they defend this, they are asking to lose this game.
Absolutely
and you can see them immediately start backing off. They're just putting themselves in a position to not make it as easy for Eager as they would want.
Oh, the roll forward. Zapman can't find the primary shot, but finds the secondary and the tertiary and puts Shadow in the ground.
And sieging this Phoenix now, it's going to be hard. It's Hurriwind left to stop it. You can see Divios already lining up that pluck. Hurriwind back in towards his Titan, first Phoenix of the game, 22 minutes. And Eager, it's only 6-1 in kills, but an 8,500 gold lead, a 12,000 experience lead. And honestly, Flashpoint are just letting it happen. You got to make a stand at one point, and they've made 0 of them.
Homiefe is the most invisible superstar I have ever seen. Homiefe is a character that has carried this team single-handedly in some instances throughout the regular season. Homiefe is a character that people say can compete with adapting for the best jungler in the world. Homiefe is a name I haven't said twice today.
We've seen 2
Where
ults.
is he?
We've seen 2 ults from him this game that I can just recall off the top of my head. One on the left-hand side, and every single time it's just been while Eager's disengaging, and they try and catch up, but they're just not able to, really. I mean, there's so much mobility in this Eager lineup as well. It's really only Raw who struggles.
4 levels. He's level 14, and he's only has 2 deaths. It's not the fact that Nemesis has been camped. He just hasn't done anything.
I believe, I talked about it earlier about how DJ starts to fall behind. I think he was a level or 2 behind.
He was half a level down.
Homiefe was level 11, and DJ was level 10, which means in the past, 8+ minutes, it's been DJ has gotten 8 levels, and Homiefe has gotten 3.
Well, let's take a look at the graphs real quick. I want to see how sharp this decline is. Right there, right at like 20, right before the 23-minute mark. You see that sharp decline, and that right there is just Eager being able to pick everything up and really provide the power push that they need. And right now, that's why they find themselves 10K up, starting a Fire Giant.
And again, look at this. djpernicus just sitting in the mid lane, looking to distract you while Zapman cleans up Fire Giants at half life right now. Eager aren't really committing to this. They're actually just looking for a bait. They don't want to run the risk of having a Fire Giant stolen or grouping up for a lava pool or an unfortunate knockup.
Divios is just looking for a tasty Nemesis to serve up to somebody. Nemesis at level 14 with the build that he has right now will die in the air. A charge prey, he dies in the air.
We saw that the last game when it was Hurriwind served up and died. I don't even think he got to the peak of his ascent before he fell. And the double heals as well. Can we actually take a look at healing? I mean, I feel like healing has not even been a factor for Eager.
It was once, and it was the most disheartening thing when Flashpoint, right after that Gold Fury we just saw, Flashpoint catch up. They're looking for the kills. Everything looks great, and, well, everybody heals up. Shadowq's going to jump. It's fine.
Just a little bit of poke for down. You can see DJ looping around the side, and Eager just looking to siege this tier 2. Looks like it's not going to go uncontested.
Yeah, Eager pushing forward, not ready to commit just yet. Divios gets ulted. Let's ride along with Eager as they push on the right side.
Yeah, he's poked hard.
They're coming up to you, DJ.
Nep just dashed too.
No, they're all beat up.
Okay. Just push this. Go fire now. Go fire.
I'm back in TP and I have 2,900 gold.
Okay, let's go. Can we burn at all? You think? Yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna go on Amma so she can't hog.
She gonna fly. That's all we have to worry about, really. I'm taking it. We can burn. Burn it, and then we're resetting. We got it. Get out. Alright, nice job. Let's go right. Gold's gonna come up. Let's go right. Nice job,
Red's up. We'll grab that.
Good zoning. That's good zoning. Yeah, I'll take red.
Kevin, you said it before. The best disengage, arguably, in the SPL. Shouts to Steel Series for the listen-in. And right there, Eager, they have everything planned out, and their disengage is as clean as their engage.
Nemesis ults onto the Sobek. Immediately, Sobek ults and just backs, just
See ya.
beelines out, and then you see Zap immediately roll back as well. The heals come from Guan Yu, the heals come from Ra, and honestly, we even saw them positionally looking to body block for Divios in case there was a hard engage, but Benji couldn't catch up in time, and you saw Flashpoint immediately just F6. They're like, all right, we wasted the ult, we got Sobek ult, and then you just heard the comms from Eager as well. DJ looping around the back. No, everyone still has purification. Everyone still has purification. Okay, let's burnless, let's back. Hey, I'm gonna back and I'm gonna TP. I've got 2,900 gold. All right, let's look to push right after this fire giant. Okay, let's snag the red up before it's just
Calculate.
do this. This is our checkbox. Let's hit them all, and the final checkbox is gonna be win this game.
And again, going back to Eager distracting players and compositions and teams, DJ wraps around the back, looks tasty as hell, and then as soon as Flashpoint turns around,
You gotta pay attention to both.
yeah, as soon as Flashpoint turns around, they turn back around and there's no tower. Like, DJ shows up for just the amount of time for the team to push forward.
And I like this decision too. Yeah, you want to get the Phoenix on the opposite side of the fire giant, but this one's already weakened. Take it without much resistance from Flashpoint, or even if a fight does break out, it's going to be pretty easy to shred that Phoenix. It's not going to be as impactful in an engagement, you know, this late into the game. And if you're a Flashpoint fan, you really need Hurriwind and you really need Vetium to go off right now.
Shadowq gets to knock up on the best, but there's no follow-up. And now he's getting followed up on. Shadowq knocked up, smacked in the face, and taken down by DJ, but it's right after Aror suffered the same fate. Both teams, no support. Because of that, Eager looking for a retreat. Divios going to provide some help with a nice little knock-up. Zapman still firing warning shots.
Doesn't want to retreat.
That's not a warning shot. That's aggressive. Hey,
DJ.
Look who's in the back. DJ's right around the backside looking for help, but instead, Eager looking
and
to
look at
stay
that.
aggressive.
DJ probably could have cut them off and went for a fight, but instead they want to focus on the objectives. But Benji walks in front of a Sobek, gets plucked and died. The Phoenix falls as well. There's only 3 members left for Flashpoint. This isn't the worst defense for them, but it's not easy. You can see only 1 wave of fire minions, and instead Eager just looking for all 3 Phoenixes. Play it safe. Don't play risky. Now they've got 3 waves of fire minions that are going to be pushing up. They still have a couple minutes on Fire Giant as well. They're going to back, probably wait for the next one to spawn, shred any jungle camps they can here. Speed buff about to spawn. They're going to be just off the mark on the timer.
Let's talk risk management. Risk versus reward. Eager goes in there and gets a mid Phoenix, right? They go to the left Phoenix and both teams lose their support, and that's that. Eager's retreating, and Benji pushes up for seemingly no reason.
Honestly, at this point, you have to think of it too with how far behind Flashpoint are, especially when you're up against 2 healers. That might have been their best opportunity. You know, sometimes when you're 8K behind and you see people go for the Fire Giant anyway, it's one of those things where if this continues at this pace, we're going to lose. And I think that was Flashpoint going, we need to try and pick up someone else here, because if we can find 1 more person, get Fire Giant off them, that means for the next 3 minutes, Eager aren't going to try and force anything.
I'm gonna correct you there, though. It wasn't Flashpoint, it was just Benji. If there was follow-up from somebody else, I think I'd be a little bit more happy about it. Benji, again, by himself, and he'll die alone. Benji falls down to the hand of the best.
All right, I got nothing for that one. I have nothing for that one.
That's what happened. Benji pushed up by himself. Hurriwind was too far away to really capitalize. So Benji trades his life, and what was a single mid-Phoenix that resulted in a dead support turns into 3 dead Phoenixes, and then, Benji in the jungle that time, I got nothing.
It's 4 players, a missed
Divios
pluck and a Nim ult, and Hurriwind's lining him up, but he can't find all the shots, misses one. Still, that Sobek very tanky. Shadowq over the wall, trying to force Eager back. This Titan is already under half, though. I mean, there's no Phoenixes. It has almost no health, and Eager just biding their time. They want 1 more kill before they fully commit to this. They need to be careful, though. Zapman getting crit.
DJ is just playing Distracto Man. The rest of DJ, the rest of Eager come around from the left. Again, that's the same play they made by the tower. That's the same play, Kevin. The exact same play. DJ wraps around one side, and the rest of Eager are just able to respond on the left flank. They did it twice in a row. Flashpoint fall for it twice in a row, and Eager win twice in a row.
The surprising thing to me is this is not the Flashpoint we saw in the group stages that were taking fights.
Sure.
And this is the composition where if you were going to fight, you needed to do it. You had the Bacchus, you had the Nemesis, you had the Raijin. That is their bread and butter combo that they showed against Soar. It was incredibly successful, but everything kind of just fell to the wayside at the beginning with that really awkward start to the game, a only one buff was taken in the first 2 minutes on the right-hand side of the map, and it was, you know, at a minute 50 or something. And honestly, Flashpoint just didn't know how to respond quickly enough to that invade.
Hurriwind and Homiefe right here don't look like they are operating on the same page. Coach Drelo before was sort of babbling very quickly as well, so Flashpoint clearly trying to figure out the dysfunction. Flashpoint aren't getting out Kwang anytime soon.
No.
But in my opinion, in this broadcaster's opinion, Flashpoint need to give Homiefe a powerful carry pick to bring them
Give him
to
Thor
another
at this
game.
point, right? Give him something in his hands that he's going to make an impact across the map. And if Eager are trying to do this strategy where they split you up, well, nothing's better than to counter that than globals, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're on the wrong side of the map. If they're going to rotate over, you have that global to get in the spot you need to be when you need to be there.
Homie's got to do the carrying. Will his team enable him to? Evan, why don't you answer that?
Well, I won't do the answering. I'll leave it to these experts over here. They played a little bit more than me, but I will say that I saw that game. Eager look ready to go. Zapman and his squad are 1 win away from making it to Worlds. I know that's pretty exciting for a lot of Eager fans out there. I know that's exciting for the team. Totally break that down. What went down this game? What made them so successful?
So what I saw was just the inability for Homiefe to really do anything with that Nemesis first pick. Normally, when you ever pick this god, you're pairing it up with the Bacchus and the Raijin, which Flashpoint did, but unfortunately, they couldn't really find the picks that they needed to in the jungle fights. Instead, it was Eager that were able to really control the jungle side.
Right, I think F-Dot and Adonis really nailed it. Homie is a carry jungler, and he really wants pressure to be able to do what he wants. That level 1 stall by Divios and Pern just stopped Homie from getting any momentum rolling in that game. He was Nemesis from behind the entire time, and he just never had an opportunity to make plays. I
mean, honestly, I look at both of these junglers, and I'm expecting some sort of early pressure to disrupt the flow. Obviously, the best leans very heavily onto DJ, and vice versa. Hurriwind leans even more so onto Hurriwind as well. So I feel like this is the strategy that both teams are trying to execute, and Eager have been getting the better end of it, at least in 2 games.
Well, we saw early on that Eager actually kind of formulated this plan too. At the first game, they picked Jing a little earlier. They kind of focused for Zap a little earlier than they did in the second and the third game, and it ended up paying off as their strategies started to meld. They got better team compositions overall. Now it seems like they picked for Homiefe, but it didn't pan out for them. Was there another pick you think should have been selected at that time?
Well, Ao Kwang was indeed open. Thor as well is something that Homiefe is very comfortable on and very efficient. And I would have expected actually one of those 2 picks over the Nemesis.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go for the Ao Kwang. Homie's really comfortable in that god. But I think another aspect of this is just outside of picks and bans in the gameplay, we saw Aror go to mid-harpies right after the red buff, which is very uncommon, and he's just forcing numbers advantage on the Fire Giant side of the map for Eager, and that's why they're getting these early buff invades and these early hogs. Benji even went hog that game instead of teleport, and they still couldn't secure their own buffs.
And we saw just how aggressive Divios was on that Sobek. A lot of his player damage was actually just because he was bullying away Benji. And honestly, a lot of the player damage for everybody that game was on the low side. We saw like the 18-minute mark, it was 3-1. It was a very slow-paced game.
A very calculated game. There was 11 kills, and I believe it was a 30-minute game. So just Eager taking it nice and slow, playing chess, as people have said in the past, and just really calculating all their decisions and making sure they're playing the game clean.
Very cleanly, I would say, is Eager playing right now. And they're 1 game away in this best-of-5 set to win it out and qualify to Worlds.
That's the thing. Zapman going from kind of a player who is more of a hothead, you could say, just getting very upset, being very aggressive, but then transitioning into, hey, this is my brand. This is my team. I have to mature a little bit. I have to make these kind of wise decisions. He seemed to have really taken great leaps and bounds in that direction, showing the patience as well as all of Eager to kind of stall it out, not be too risky, get the Phoenixes, go back, and then get ready to finish this off.
Just maturing as a player. He doesn't have to jump the gun. He's been through all the highs and the lows. He knows what he has to do now, and he's just being very calm. He's keeping his team morale up. He even got soloed at the start of that game, and he just came back, no problem.
I was actually going to mention that point as well, being able to get soloed, but being able to bounce back was so important. We saw how aggressively he was actually dashing into the action in the late game. He knows the damage that he's capable of. He knows what his team requires him, and he knows when to initiate and close out a team fight.
Now, it did seem, looking at the cameras there, that there was a very deep conversation going on for, obviously, you know, the counters to Eager, and they were looking to see what can we do to step our game up here. We're down 1 game. This could be us going into the group stages now. What do they need to do? to get themselves back into this and change the status, maybe for Homiefe, maybe for Hurriwind?
So the way I'm looking at it as Flashpoint, they need that mid-jungle synergy control in the early mid-jungle control. And another way to get it, besides picking more better gods, obviously the Nemesis and the Raijin, is to maybe take away the Ra from TheBest. Maybe that's an option that Flashpoint should explore, because all 3 games, it was Ra, Ra, Ra.
I think they need to be creative with their level 1 starts as well. I don't think you can keep allowing Aror to force a 4v3 on your solo side of the map and just keep taking these buffs from you. They have to find an answer to that.
And maybe what they could do to Aror is, like, whenever he's rotating, maybe just start camping at Zap's lane, if they could find those picks early
Try
on.
to zone out Zap or just gank him early and kill him, yeah.
Get his levels behind, try
Right.
to invade the boards, the red buff, maybe start exploring some options with the Gold Fury. And shutting down Zap could potentially shut down the momentum in the mid game for the rest of Eager. And that's what I really want to see out of Flashpoint, just to control maybe the dual lane side of the game.
Right. And the solo kill, we said it didn't really have that big of an impact. Zap still being able to bounce back, but he wasn't at a level disadvantage, so it didn't really matter. It was just a little bit of gold towards Vetium. If they were able to, zone him out of a few waves, maybe invade his boards, get him behind a significant amount where Vetium could actually go to Gold Fury and bait Gold Fury fights, and then that Raijin Bacchus Nem combo could really come to fruition and just dominate the game.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how Flashpoint are going to make those necessary adjustments in their gameplay, but there's also other gameplay as well. You guys can definitely go check out faceit.com if you want to get involved in some interesting Smite actions, compete to win prizing, exclusive chest rolls, skins, and gems.
Excellent. So take a look at Face It if you are interested in that. I know everyone's interested to see exactly how this game pans out. All of us are here. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Smite action coming up right after this. Eager, Flashpoint, going at it. Zapman, 1 game away from Worlds.